Hi everyone, today we're going to be making black bean and corn salsa. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need a can of each: diced tomatoes, corn, and black beans. You're also going to need some cilantro, lime, red onion, a pepper. I'm using poblano peppers today, and some salt. This recipe is really great because you can be as creative as you want with it, or you can stick right with the recipe. There's not much equipment with this recipe. All you need is a cutting board, a knife, a spoon, a can opener, a bowl, and a colander. Okay, so we're going to start by wiping down all of our cans. It's really important to clean everything, not just your fresh produce. So we're also going to check the cans for any dents, any rust, because we don't want to use any bad food. So make sure you're careful when you're opening your cans. The can opener creates a sharp edge on the inside of the can right around here, so you don't want to stick your fingers in there. So when you're opening up all of them, if you can't get the lid out, you can use a knife to pop it open. Make sure you're really careful. Like that one, I couldn't grab it with my fingers. So you might want to have an adult do that. So we want to strain our corn to get rid of all the juice into the colander in the sink, and you want to put that right in the bowl. Then we want to also strain the black beans. The black beans have a lot of stuff in them that makes it really starchy, so you want to rinse those out in the colander too. Next, we're going to add the can of tomatoes, but we want to keep the juice in there. That will make it a little bit more salsa-y. Now you can start mixing it together, but this isn't going to be our final product. Now we're going to add some more fresh ingredients. But these three canned items, our corn, our black beans, and our tomatoes, are three staples that you can find in the Connecticut Partnership for Children's School-Based Food Pantries. I'm going to start with cilantro. So make sure you wash all your fresh produce just like you do with the cans. You can use the stems of the cilantro in your final product. I'm only going to use part of them. So this is a great job if you have smaller helpers. You can have them break it up with their hands if you don't want them using any knives. So make sure you use the bear claw method. Put your fingers underneath your hands and you have your knuckles out more, so you're less likely to chop the tips of your fingers. So this is a great job for an adult to do, or have kids be very supervised when you're doing it. Then I'm going to chop mine very small, but you can do it as large as you'd like. Once we finish chopping our cilantro, we're going to carefully put it right into our bowl with the rest of our ingredients. Make sure you clean off your cutting board and your knife in between so that it's easier to cut all of your other ingredients. Our next ingredient is going to be a red onion. So we're going to want to chop that right in half. Make sure you're really careful with this. Then we're going to cut off the root end and the stem end of the onion, because you can't really eat those. You can, but they're not very palatable. They don't taste very well. Then we're going to peel off all the dry layers of skin that don't taste good either. Make sure you clear off your cutting board because you don't want any of those dry pieces to end up in your salsa. Then we're going to cut it into very small pieces. If you like lots of onion and you want bigger pieces, you can cut it into bigger pieces. So for this recipe, you need about half of a medium-sized onion. I got a really big onion, so I'm not going to use the whole half. Up next is our pepper. I'm using a poblano pepper, but if you want a little more spicy, you can use a jalapeno or a bell pepper for a little more sweet. So cut your pepper right in half, and you're gonna remove the stem end, and that carries most of the seeds. Make sure you get all the piece of the stem because that won't taste that good. And then when you look inside, you can see that there's still some seeds. If you give it a good tap, the seeds usually pop right out. Make sure you clean off your cutting board because the seeds don't taste too good if they end up in your salsa. So we're gonna cut the pepper into strips so that it's easier to cut into smaller pieces. Make sure you get all the seeds because sometimes they get a little stuck. Once you have your peppers cut into strips, you want to line them up so that you can start cutting them into little pieces. So you want to chop those up so that they can go right into your bowl. One of our last ingredients is lime. If you roll it a little bit before you cut it, it'll help when you squeeze it. It won't be as hard. Now it's time to mix it all together. As you're seasoning it with the lime and salt, make sure you have a spoon so you can taste it. Remember that less is always more. And you can always add more, you can't add less. Once you and your family are done making this recipe, make sure you take a picture of it and post it in the comments below, because at the end of this series, we will be choosing some names from the comments and doing a raffle. So enjoy, stay safe, and have fun. Bye guys.